very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Piyush and I teach Indian polity, international relations, and political science and international relations for UPSC Civil Services examination. In the previous sessions, we have seen the nuances on PSIR optional. We taught to know about the ways of preparing paper 1 and paper 2. In this particular section, we'll try to understand what are the different books and the reference material which you can refer while preparing for political science optional. Now, when it comes to paper 1 is divided into two parts, political theory and political thought, and the second is the Indian government and politics part. We have different book list for both of the sections. If we see for paper 1, what we have is, I have taken 4 books here as a part of your reference material, and I'll tell you how these 4 books can be used for different portions of paper 1. If I talk about paper 1, which is a political theory and thought, we can divide paper 1 part A into 4 subparts. First subpart is the Western political thought. This Western political thought can be understood from numerous resources, but a book by Subrata Mukherjee and Sushila Ramaswamy, it's a very good book which you can refer. From Plato to Marx. However, few thinkers are missing from this particular book. For those part, you can refer to the IGNOU MPS material also. For example, the recent studies around critical theory, neo-Marxism, and philosophers like Hannah Arendt, they are missing. For that part, IGNOU MPS material can be referred. It's a good material. Or there is another book by Brian Nelson. This can also be referred to for those portions. Then the second portion in this particular section is the Indian political thought. As a part of Indian political thought, there is a very good book by V.R. Mehta. The title is Foundations of Indian Political Thought. IGNOU material is also decent for this particular portion, and you may refer that also. Then the political ideologies part, and this is a very, very good book which I would definitely ask you to read. The book is Political Ideologies, an Introduction by Andrew Haywood. This book you should read because it offers you the in-depth understanding with respect to various ideologies starting from liberalism, and it covers the recent ones which are more important in recent times, I would say, not the recent ones, but the ones which are more important in recent times, which includes the ideas on nationalism, ethno-nationalism, or multiculturalism. All these ideologies are very well covered. Last is for the political concepts part. So we have divided paper 1 part A. This is part A of paper 1. This is part B of paper 1. Part A we have divided into 4 parts: Western political thought, Indian political thought, political ideologies, and political concepts. For this book by Rajiv Bhargav and Ashok Acharya, it's a very good book, although the language is on the tougher side, but you can refer to this book also. Now, before I move forward, I am not suggesting that you go and read all these books. Ideally, what should be done is that a certain notes should be taken, and from those notes, you should prepare. But in case you have any difficulty with respect to understanding things outside the class, if you want to read things, this is the set of books which you can refer. With this particular book being the one which you should definitely read, at least few chapters of this book you should definitely read. This is for the paper 1 part A. Now coming to paper 1 part B, Indian government and politics part. Indian government and politics part, you have B.L. Fadia, which will cover nearly 70% of Indian government and politics. Instead of Lakshmikant, B.L. Fadia is a much better book from the perspective of political science. From Lakshmikant also you'll get to know a lot of things, but when you have to put things in context, B.L. Fadia is a very good book. It can be referred. And Oxford's Companion to Politics in India by Neerja Gopal Jail and Pratap Bhanu Mehta. This is also a very good book, with the only caveat that it is not updated and the language is extremely tough. However, for concepts like secularism, it's a very good text. Very few topics can be referred from this particular book. Third is India's Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra. This is a very easy text which you read for modern Indian history also. A lot of topics are overlapping. We can read this for the political science portion also. Now, one aspect around caste, religion, ethnicity. This is also a topic, or party systems. These are topics which are covered in BL Fadia, but for these topics, you may have to do additional research, because these topics are topics which are favorite topics for UPSC, at least from the perspective of PSIR. They're asked in GS also. Caste, religion, ethnicity aspects are asked in GS also. Party system is not something which is generally asked in GS. This also can be referred from something like EPW. Or if you are finding it very difficult to read EPW, get your hands at EPW. It's a weekly magazine. Not possible. You don't have the luxury of time. Please stick to The Hindu. There also you will find commentary for this part. But we'll have to take care of this part from here also. This is paper 1. Now let's get to paper 2. If we talk about paper 2, and paper 2 part A is Comparative Politics and Theory of IR. The first book is Global Politics by Andrew Haywood. Very, very good book, again by the same author. And this book is again something which I ask everyone to read, because this will give you a very good base for international relations. The topics covered are in a very good manner. If you have the knack for reading more, this is the book for you. Globalization of World Politics, Bailey, Smith and Owens. This is also a very good book. This is largely for the theory of IR part. This is for concepts and otherwise practical application of this theory you can find here. So from the perspective of examination, this is more relevant than this. However, this is generally read to have more understanding of things. Then for comparative politics, you have J.C. Johari. It's a very good book, standard book, which is referred for comparative politics. However, for this, IGNOU MPS material is also very good. You can refer for comparative politics this material also. You will find some value in this material also from the examination perspective. Finally, we come to Indian world. And Indian world is a tricky part simply because of the fact that lots of dynamism is there. Generally, I would not suggest you to go for books. These books are only written for reference purpose, with this book being a relatively new one and something which you can read. If you want to read a very basic text on international relations from the perspective especially of the government, you can refer to The India Way by S. Jaishankar also. The recent book by S. Jaishankar, Why Bharat Matters, that is also a decent read, but from the perspective of a PSIR student, this will not be sufficient. We'll have to go for further research on various aspects of international relations. So from a preliminary perspective, you may go for reading something like this. The Oxford Handbook, this is not updated, but you will get a very good reference for all the syllabus pointers which are given in the optional syllabus. You will get the reference from here, although it is not updated, so little relevance for us. Making India Great by Aparna Pandey and From Chanakya to Modi by Aparna Pandey. Both are recent books, can be read, good texts to read. However, if you are not in a habit of reading books, for this part, we can refer to The Hindu, Indian Express, and what we need to do is add ORF to our study. The Hindu, Indian Express, I'm not saying that you go for both the newspapers, you can choose any one. In both of them, relevant issues are covered. ORF is something which you can add. ORF stands for Observer Research Foundation. It's a think tank. Now, ORF does research on number of topics, starting from, let's say, climate change, environment, or urbanization to international relations. We are only interested in the international relations research of the ORF. Here you will find a lot of articles which are relevant for your syllabus. Again, not saying that you refer to ORF on a daily basis, but yes, once you know how to approach the subject, ORF can be referred on 7 or 14 days basis also. So after every 7 days, you can scroll through ORF, the topics which are there in the syllabus. Every 14 days also you can go there and check. You will find 1 or 2 articles which are relevant. This understanding what is relevant to you and what is not relevant to you, this will come over a period of time. So you'll have to invest a lot in understanding the syllabus of PSIR. Now, in addition to this, there are certain secondary resources also. However, I have not included those secondary resources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the team to attach a PDF for the same in the description of this video, which you can go and download. And on top of that, if you still have any doubts with respect to any aspect, you can feel free to contact us. We are there to help you. You can feel free to contact us. You have the numbers. In addition to that, you can contact me directly on Telegram at this particular ID. It will connect you personally with me. Feel free to ask your doubts. Feel free to discuss any aspect with respect to the political science optional, with respect to answer writing, with respect to books, with respect to concepts. Not a problem. We'll try to help you. You can reach out for this. And this brings us to the end of our session. Again, I hope I was able to add some value to your understanding of the optional, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Having said this, thank you so much everyone for listening so patiently. We'll be back with more analysis on PSIR. Until then, all the very best.